It only guarantees us the fact that we don't have to go out and argue for individual raises.
And there's always the illusion, at least, if nothing more, that you can go into the office and negotiate yourself something better when you feel all this strain that people feel all the time when you're working like that. And we don't have that illusion anymore. You know, I mean, if you go into the office, and I've been in the office, and a lot of guys have been in the office, you hear, well, I can't give it to you because I got to give it to everyone. And you have a contract, and, you know, he says to me, you negotiate it, you know. And yes, I think you deserve more money, but we have to live under this contract because, you know, so you're trapped by the terms of it.
You figure on staying at Sandy Alexander?
I think so. There's no reason at the moment to think otherwise. Nothing basically has changed there because of the union coming in, other than I think that the family element is gone. Where before everyone was like up here concerned about why that fellow was out today, or the management has changed. Management has changed and is changing, unfortunately. And that was one of the reasons why we got the union, because of management's attitude changing. They're basically, you know, they're in it for their dollar. And they want everyone to give and give and give as much as they can for as little as they necessarily have to pay. And that's the way it was working. And we were getting less and less and less, even though we were getting raises because of the economy going beyond what they were giving us. So we hoped, hopefully, that when we got into the union, that in time to come, we'll be able to hopefully keep pace at the same time without having to go in there and beg for the money. But it seems that we're still not going to be able to keep pace.
Without a union contract, the majority of the workers at Sandy Alexander probably would have been worse off, given the current economic squeeze. But that's not the way they see it. What they see is that certain benefits will not come to them immediately, and that their lives have not dramatically improved now that they're in the union. For years, the workers had relied on the old boss, Herb Alexander, to guard their interests. But he looked after his own interests and sold the company, and the workers turned to the union. Problems persisted. The union was no guarantee of unity. The workers' different attitudes toward work, the union, and their lives continued to make it difficult for them to act together. For a moment, in the battle over the clocks, the men at Sandy Alexander trusted themselves and each other enough to take their lives into their own hands. But that was just a moment.
Shop Talk was completed in June 1980. A few months later, the management of Sandy Alexander attempted to lay off one of the plate makers. Upon hearing the news, the workers threatened to go to the union. The company replied that the union would be of no help since the contract did not prevent layoffs. The men met and decided that union or no union, they would walk out in support of the plate maker. 2 hours later, the man was reinstated.
If I were awarding Oscars for films about organized labor, the one you've just seen would be at the top of my list. It capsulizes more effectively and realistically than anything else I've ever come across the cross-pulls that are giving the labor movement such massive problems in this era when giant conglomerates are swallowing up family-owned businesses and automation is wiping out any usefulness for the arduously acquired skills of craftsmen accustomed to high wages and a secure place in the community. Workers in the printing trades have been special victims of this annihilative effect of the march of technology. The International Typographical Union, long the premier union in printing, traces its roots back to the American Revolution. It has written some of the proudest pages in the annals of unionism. Yet its membership is shrinking towards zero as computers and electronic terminals take over the work once done by craftsmen on linotype machines and ponderous makeup tables. The Lithographers Union, to which the workers at Sandy Alexander belong, was itself a beneficiary in the early stages of the revolution in printing technology. The offset method of composition, in which lithographers specialized, was cheaper and often superior to the use of engraving plates, hot metal, and stereotype mats, the mainstays of printing. But now, new developments in offset printing are making lithographers as expendable as printers have become. Jobs that enabled workers to earn $30,000 to $40,000 a year are being snuffed out. The union, which used to pride itself on the warm welcome it extended to advances in technology as a source of jobs for its members and of profits for its employers, is now reduced to fighting what is at best a holding action. Its leaders know that if they push too hard in collective bargaining, the conglomerates, now so predominant in every branch of industry, will close down high-cost operations in places like New York and shift their work to non-union shops, sometimes as far off as Taiwan. Little wonder that the skilled workers at Sandy Alexander are so torn about the value of a union to them. Their ambivalence is heightened by the degree to which a good many of them have become middle class in outlook. That helps explain why immediate slicing up of the profit-sharing melon loomed even bigger than the hated time clock in their priority list for their first contract. It's a long cry from Homestead, or the Pullman strike, or the Ludlow massacre. I'm Abe Raskin.